हरे कृष्ण। मम ज्ञानतिमिरान्धस्य ज्ञानाञ्जनशलाकया चक्षुरुन्मीलितं येन तस्मै श्रीगुरवे हरे कृष्ण. We'll continue our discussion on this very important verses from Prabhupada's point of view. We'll just read a few translations from behind to understand what is happening, because Kali Yuga memory will forget things very fast. Upon seeing the charming form of Lord smiling and attractive and hearing his very pleasing words, the pure devotee almost loses all his consciousness. His senses are freed from all the entanglements and he becomes absorbed in devotional service. Thus, in spirit of his unwillingness, he attains liberation without separate endeavor. So this is what Lord Kapila is trying to understand. Okay, we'll just read a few more from where Lord Kapila is starting. Yeah. Lord Kapila says, this is Mother Devata. The senses are symbolic representation of demigods, and their natural inclination is to work under the direction of Vedic injunctions. As the senses are representative of demigods, so the mind is the supreme personality of God. The mind's natural duty is to serve. This is very important. We always have to remember it has. And without, and when when the service spirit is engaged in devotional service to the personality of God without any motivation, that is far better than salvation. This is a very important understanding why devotees are better than impersonalists or yogis, and even though they are doing so much, because they are engaged in their constitutional position. Bhakti devotional dissolves the subtle body of the living entity without separate effort, just as fire stomach. Dissolving the subtle body, we have discussed very clearly. That means all the problems in subtle body are dissolved, the impressions are dissolved. We don't have any more impressions connecting to the subtle body. It is becoming free. That is what is dissolving here. We have spiritual mind and we have intelligence also, but it is all in a different level. And then a pure devotee who is attached to the activities of devotional service and who is always engaged in the service of my lotus feet never desires to become one with me. Such a devotee who is unflinchingly engaged always glorifies my pastimes and activities. This is a very famous verse. And then next shloka, our Lord says is, O my mother, my devotees always see the smiling face of my form, with eyes like the rising moon's morning sun. They like to see my various transcendental forms, which are all benevolent, and they also talk favorably with me. This is about Lord is telling about his own form. And upon seeing this, and the smiling attractive, hearing very pleasing words, the pure devotee almost lose all other consciousness, no material consciousness, and his senses are free from all other engagement. He becomes absorbed in devotional service, and thus, in spite of unwillingness, he attains liberation without separating. So, what happens is loses all other consciousness means all material consciousness is gone. Now we are liberated only. That is the simple thing to understand. Liberation means no material consciousness. I am not attracted to any of the, like Sukadeva Goswami is Atma Ramasya Manayo. No, he's already Atma. He's not getting affected by any of the things that are happening around him. He's quite peaceful and cool. He is seeing some women bathing also, not affected. So he's liberated. That is what we have to achieve. But we want to go beyond that also. But that means it's already achieved when the consciousness is not almost not all other consciousness. Then what is there to get affected by here? Why we are getting affected is because I am affected. My consciousness is absorbed in matter. That's why I get affected by matter. Otherwise, how will, like small children are there now? They are like say 2 3 years old. Their consciousness is very limited. They think about their body only. They cannot think of any other things. They think about themselves. Now we say, oh, you know what happened? No, there is some war going or some fight going on and all these things. It does not matter only because their consciousness is not observed. Like when we were small, like we don't get affected by what is happening. We are just affected by level of our consciousness, our school homework and other things. What is happening at the government level, what is happening in the other countries, war and all, that does not affect us, right? So similarly, when we lose our consciousness with matter, all these things, then what is happening in the world, how does it matter for us? We are only interested in something beyond matter, like that. So it is already a liberated state, Jivan Muktas. And then next is, we have discussed all these things. Thus, because he's completely absorbed thought of me. Now, because consciousness is unconscious. Devotee does not desire even the highest benediction obtained in the upper planetary systems. Because that is also matter and is absorbed in something higher. So for him, it does not make much difference. Like say, now somebody comes and says, such a nice new cartoon show has come. How many of us will be interested in cartoon show? But for children, they will very much eager. Sunday, they'll be waiting when Sunday come, when I will see the cartoon, when a new show is coming, or so many other new things are there for children. Now, why we are not affected? Because our consciousness got elevated. We are no more with the toys, new cartoon shows, new games. Children are attracted. We are not attracted. They'll say, can you come and play with me? My nephew is there. Neko says, can we play together? You want to play? Let us play football or something. Now, their consciousness, they get so much pleasure in that. But our consciousness absorbed in something else. So similarly, if you are absorbed in the consciousness of Lord Krishna, then this Swargaloka also, even though it is such a high amount of pleasure, will not make much, it not appeal to the heart. Because all these things, they can go till our man buddhi, and to a greater extent it will satisfy them. But heart is satisfied, they also satisfy heart, but to the extent which by Krishna, what Krishna satisfies, because there is love here. And soul, what it needs is love. When we get satisfied with love of Krishna, then we don't want anything of this world. We say, I already got so much. That is how it happens. Like a small child in the lap of mother, no other desire. She just want to be with mother, and she can peacefully sleep in a crowded train or crowded bus, or any amount of things are happening around. But the child does not matter. She can peacefully sleep. Why? Because heart is satisfied. Because there is love that is coming from mother selflessly. That's why children are quite blissful and happy compared to elders. They're no, like I see children. Sometimes their mother tell go to the shop nearby. Besides, some children stay, and from the shop to house, he will not directly walk. Either he will dance, or he will jump. He will go here there. He does not do his stride, and is very blissful. And I know after 5 years you'll not have same bliss. What happens is when they experience that selfless love, there is some bliss. Heart is satisfied. But that's why they don't need Swargaloka pleasure. Why Swargaloka pleasure? What Brahmaloka? Really, Brahmaloka? They say no, no. That's why Sukadeva Goswami, they are like Brahmaloka people. Atma Ramascha Manu. But Nirghanta Urukrame Kurvanta Hetu Kim Bhakti Miktam. When they heard the activities of Urukrama, Krishna, they developed love. The heart is satisfied like that. And then he says, the Lord, my dear mother, devotees who receive such transcendental opulence are never bereft of them. Neither weapons nor the change of time can destroy such opulences. Because the devotees accept me as their friend, their relative, their son, preceptor, benefactor, and supreme deity, they cannot be deprived of their positions at any time. Now, why we don't lose the opulences which we receive is because they are permanent. Why they are permanent? Because they are connected to the Lord. Anything connected to Lord is permanent. Anything not connected to Lord in this world, whatever we are getting, we are going to lose 100%. That is the state. We have to accept it. All the things which I have, I am going to lose because they are not directly connected to Krishna. Krishna gave for some time and is going to take it back, but they are not directly Krishna's. What is directly Krishna's? His holy name, his katha, his whatever service we are getting. That are the things which are permanent, which we have to accumulate more and more. Not the other things which are going to go anyway. And another thing we discussed is why I am doing all these things. Time also destroys. Why time destroys? We discussed the time does not have effect on them. Only activity of time is destroying only. Even scientists, they are doing so much research to understand the factor of time. They're confused. They don't understand. But Krishna tells in Bhagavad Gita, I am the destroyer. Everything is affected by time. It's such a subtle energy, which is the main energy of the Lord in this material world. The time factor, which is change everything, and nobody can stop it. All the scientists, everybody is fighting against time. We all fight against time. We don't want to become old. We don't want to lose certain things. We don't want to lose the people around us. They are my people. I want to be with them all the time. We always fight with time, but unfortunately, we always lose. Only time wins. And we want to be successful. We want to be famous. And the people who are famous, they want to maintain it. But unfortunately, the time does not allow them to maintain. They get so much pained when their fame is reducing. They'll become very pained when their opulence is ready because time factor. Na? But you accumulate something which time does not destroy. That is called intelligence, real intelligence, spiritual intelligence. Accumulate things which time cannot destroy. What we can accumulate? Spiritual knowledge, chanting the holy name, and the sukruti when we serve devotees. So these are the things. I think we can write this. So So we have to accumulate things which time cannot destroy. And but unfortunately, we always fight with time. Why we cannot win? Because time is Krishna only. That is why we cannot win. Who can win with Krishna? We are only fighting. Then what we do? Instead of fighting, we take, we become part of Krishna. We become Krishna's side. Krishna says, okay, you be on my side. Then being on Krishna's side means accumulate things, whatever connected to Krishna, instead of wasting our time. Ayur harati vaipumsam. This ayur harati, it is destroyed, it is evaporated like that. Oh. So here we discuss the highest happiness is in relationships. And Krishna wants in like we are all working. Yeah, this question we discussed yesterday also. Why I am doing what I am doing? Only reason is because happiness only. Why I want money? Why I want relation? Why I want facilities at home? Why I want comforts? Ultimately, this answer for why ends with uh, happiness. Anything you ask outside people also, no, they want this only. And that comes in relation with Krishna very properly. Any other relation is not correct. Does the devotee worship me, the all pervading Lord of the universe, in unflinching devotional service, gives up all aspirations to be promoted to heavenly planets or to become happy in this world with wealth, children, cattle, home, wealth, children, wife, husband, or anything in relation with the body, I take him to the other side of birth and death. Lord is giving such a nice assurance here that we should not, at one time, we should not give up all the aspirations to be promoted to heavenly planets. We may say, Proji, no aspiration, heavenly. But become happy in this world with wife, children, cattle, home, husband, any relation with the body, that should be given up. Just give up all aspirations. We may get, we may not get, but we should not aspire for it. That is the point. No, I should, all my family relatives should come, we'll stay together, we'll have some nice 2 3 days, we'll nicely stay with each other and have good time. And friends should come, all my college friends, school friends will come together and do something. Similarly, there will be relatives, friends, family members, and Prabhupada is telling, sorry, it's Kapila Muni is telling wealth. Now, previously it's cattle, now it's cars and bikes, and nice home, big home, sweet homes, and all these things. We should not even aspire. We should give up that aspiration. Then Lord says, I will take them to spiritual world if you don't have that aspiration, because you are not needing here. I'll give you something permanent like that. Sukadeva Goswami, he directly from the womb of his mother, he went out. He didn't even think about what about my mother, father. He didn't want anything material. And but Bhaktivinoda Thakur also write that Thyara Vilase, when I was in the womb of mother, I prayed, my dear Lord, I will worship you. But after coming out, no, when the people around me, when they started showing love, I forgot all my promises to you in the womb. This is actually unfortunate situation for all the living entities, that they are so much strongly desiring to have it, strong desire uh, to be get some pleasure in all these things, to become happy in this world. That is so difficult. And Prabhupada has some nice things to say. Actually, we read this study. Unflinching devotional service, as described in 2 verses, means engaging oneself fully in Krishna conscious or devotional service, accepting the Supreme Lord as all in all. Since the Supreme Lord is all inclusive, anyone worships Him in unflinching faith, he automatically achieves all other opulences and perform all other duties. Lord promises him that he will take his devotee to other side. Lord Chaitanya therefore recommended that one who is aspiring to go beyond birth and death should have no material possessions. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu's recommendation, and Prabhupada is again reminding us. This means that one should not try to be happy in the world to be promoted to the heavenly planet, nor should he try for material wealth, children, house, or cattle. I don't want to speak more on this. Somebody will be upset with me. I am telling it so many times. It's not me, it's Prabhupada only. So how liberation is imperceptibly achieved by a pure devotee, and what the symptoms are have been explained. Prabhupada is explaining this. We have read also. Bhaktivinoda Kita Janma Hoyadi Atituvada. So this we have read yesterday, discussed. Now, and Prabhupada, pure devotee is not anxious to elevate himself in his next birth. He's already given up that sort of hope. They are not thinking of being elevated. In any life in which one is born as a householder or even an animal, one must have some children, some resources, or some positions. But, very important, but a devotee is not anxious to possess anything. He is satisfied with whatever is obtained by Lord's grace. This is very important. There is always gratitude. Whatever Lord gives, we are ready to accept it. No complaints. is not at all attached to improving his social status. And very heavy purpose. Is not at all attached to improving his social status or improving the status of education of his children. I don't know how to what Prabhupada meant, but you all understand. You can give your purpose. He is not neglectful, he is dutiful, but he does not spend too much time on uplifting of temporary household or social life. This is the point. Prabhupada is telling he is not neglectful, he is dutiful, but he does not spend too much time on the uplift. He fully engages the service of Lord, and for other affairs he simply spares as much time as absolutely necessary. It means for him, other things are just to as a responsibility, but more time is for Krishna. Such a pure devotee does not care for what is going to happen in next life. He does not care even for family, children, or society. He is not bothered whether my wife will be liberated, husband will be liberated, children are liberated. He is just interested in Krishna. He fully engages service of Lord in Krishna consciousness. It is stated in Bhagavad that without the knowledge of the devotee, the Lord arranges for his devotee to be immediately transformed to his transcendental abode just after leaving his body. And Prabhupada is able to speak all these things. You know how? Because Prabhupada is following all these things. He just left his family, went and preached. He did not think about what about my wife, children. Yes, 5 children. Prabhupada left everything. He is just focused on Krishna. And his wife and children never became devotees. But Prabhupada is not affected by it. He is more interested in giving Krishna consciousness to the people who are very much eager to accept it. Everywhere some program is there, he is running day in a day, 5-6 programs are also is giving. That means he is living with these principles, what he is speaking here. He said, no, just don't worry. What about them? They are not connected to anyway. We have a false understanding that no, they are my children, my wife, my family, but they are not ours. They are all Krishna's. After quitting his body, he does not go into the womb of another mother. If we have that level of understanding clearly, that is, then there is no need of birth again. The ordinary common living entity after death is transformed to the womb of another mother according to his karma or activity to take another type of. But as far as the devotee is concerned, is at once transferred to the spiritual world. In when we come to this level of detachment, it comes naturally. We are not bothered. Otherwise, sometimes no devotees they too much for their family members. They are so much worried about it. But after one time, we have to be detached. He said, okay, this is what Krishna wants, I accept. Prabhupada accepted. And even Advaita Acharya, this Mahavishnu, his children, 3 of them became Mayavadis. What to speak of Supreme Lord's children are Mayavadis. He also could not do because the living entity's desires are there like that. But as far as the devotee is concerned, that is Lord's special mercy. He how is it possible is explained in the following words. Because he's all powerful, the Lord could do anything and everything. He can excuse all sinful reactions. He can immediately transfer a person to Vaikuntha. That is inconceivable power of the Supreme Personality of God, who is favorably disposed to the pure devotees. And नायत्र मद्भगवतः प्रधान पुरुषेश्वरात् आत्मनः सर्वभूतानां भयं तीर्यं निवर्तते. Prahlad Maharaj's question, Prahlad Maharaj asked his father's liberation and he tried to preach to his father, but he is internally completely detached. Not that he is so much worried about his father's liberation. He is concerned, but he's not affected by it. It is not affecting his devotion. He's concerned. He tried to preach his father. No, tat sadhu manye survare dehinam, and all these things he told him. His father didn't listen. Yet it did not what Prahlad is concerned because his father, that it did not affect his own practice, and he did not try to impose on his father. No balutpadita preaching. His friends also is preaching to his friends. They are innocent. He tried to help them. Like the terrible fear of birth and death can never be forsaken by anyone who restores to any shelter other than myself. For I am the Almighty Lord, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, the original source of all creation, and also the Supreme Source of all souls. So, the point what I want to tell is that we should not so much affected by it. Shudev Goswami, not affected. Yudhishthir Maharaj, when he heard Krishna left, he also, without thinking of anything, he just left. Not affected. What about my brother, wife, grandson, this, that? No. That means they have that innate the detachment. They are concerned. Like Prabhupada just left, took sannyas, started preaching. Again, he did not. When the son comes and asks also, when Prabhupada in Mayapur, Prabhupada, can we get some money? And Prabhupada asked Tamal Krishna, do you have some money? And Tamal Krishna, no, Prabhupada, we don't have. And Prabhupada says, actually, we don't have money. He didn't give money to his son also. For him, means, I am not telling what Prabhupada is, he is not affected. So, for me, whoever is practicing connected to Krishna, they are mine. That's all. It is indicated herein that the cycle of birth and death cannot be stopped unless one is a pure devotee of Supreme Lord. It is said, Harim Bina na mrityum taranti. One cannot surpass the cycle of birth and death unless one is favored by the Supreme Personality of Godhead. Like another important point, Lord loves that living entity more than us. Say, my brother, my sister are there. I have some affection for them. But Lord has more affection for them than me also. I need not bother. What will happen to them? Yeah, give them some sukruti, Lord will take care of remaining things. I just have to do my things. My part is give them sukruti. What Lord will take care of remaining. They will definitely come to Krishna consciousness. The same concept is confirmed herein. One may take to the system of understanding the absolute truth by one's own imperfect sensory speculation, or one may try to realize the self by mystic yoga process. But whatever one may do, unless he come to the point of surrender to the Supreme Personality, no process can give him liberation. This is the point. Only way is no other process. He has to surrender to Supreme Lord in some form or another. One may ask if this means that those who are undergoing so much penance and austerities by strictly following the rules and regulations are endeavoring in vain. The answer is given by Enne Aravinda Shimiktu. That means yes only. That is all vain only. And Prabhupada that my dear lotus-eyed Lord, there are persons who are puffed up with the thought that they have become liberated or one with God has become God. But in spite of thinking in such a puffed up way, their intelligence is not laudable. They are less intelligent. It is stated that their intelligence, whether high or low, is not even purified. In purified intelligence, a living entity cannot think otherwise than to surrender. That is the point Prabhupada is trying to make. Without surrendering process, one cannot achieve liberation. Those who are simply puffed up thinking themselves liberated by some non-devotional process are not polished or no clear intelligence. So their intelligence is not clear. We have to surrender only. It is said that unless one becomes Brahman, one cannot serve Brahman. That means that qualities, without realizing that he is Brahman, he cannot serve the Supreme Lord. Bhagavatam says that because non-devotees neglect the transcendental loving service of lotus feet of Lord, their intelligence is not sufficient. Therefore, this person fall down. Nayatra mad bhagavataha. So here, very clearly, Lord is equal to everyone. No one is his enemy, no one but he is inclined to his devotees. Madbhayad vati vatoyam suryastapati madbhayat varshandrodhaya dhayati agnir mrityuscharati madbhayat. It is because of my supremacy that the wind blows out of fear of me, the sun shines out of fear of me, the Lord of the clouds, Indra, sent forth showers out of fear of me, fire burns out of fear of me, the death goes about taking his toll without out of fear of me. Here, very famous verse. Krishna tells that natural law being enacted are correct in all activities because of superintendence. No one should think that the nature is working automatically. This is very important. That natural laws they are being enacted or occurred in all activities. That means of the superintendent because of his superintendence. Now, without superintendence, the Vedic literature says that the clouds are controlled by demigod, the heat is distributed by sun, the soothing moonlight by Chandra, and wind is blowing Vayu, and Lord is telling Nityo Nityanam Chetanasya. Demigods are also ordinary living entities, but due to their their devotional attitude, they have been promoted to this post. And demigods are department heads like that. And there are millions of planets all over the universe, all under control of the Supreme Lord. Maya Dikshena Prakriti. Prabhupada writes now, one who takes shelter of the Supreme Lord is completely protected from all these influences. So no Shani, Rahu, Ketu and all these planets will not affect. Now people may say, who has taken shelter? For us also it is applicable. He no longer serves or is obliged to anyone. Of course, he's not disobedient to anyone. This is another important. Like say, there are rules we have to follow, like traffic rules. We have to follow traffic rules. We have to pay the tax to the government. So we are staying in a country, we have to follow the rules. Right? We cannot say I'll not follow, I'm a devotee. No, it is not like that. We have to follow, others will be punished. Similarly, there are certain rules that are created in the nature. We have to follow them. They are created by Supreme Lord, even though they are governed by the demigods, but the rules are ultimately by Supreme Lord. We have to follow them. Like I have to eat according to my body. That is a rule. If I don't eat, I say no, I'm a devotee. It does not. You will get punishment. You will have problem with your body. You are not properly taking care. I have to sleep properly. I have to eat properly. There are rules. Then similarly, this Vastu rules also. There are rules which are to be followed. We cannot say I will not follow. It will affect your health. It will affect the mind. If the sunlight should be proper in the house, wind should be proper in the house. They are the rules that are created. I cannot say I will not follow. But most important is if Krishna is arranging something for us, this we have discussed also. If Krishna is arranging that you will have to stay in such place, then we accept it. We will not rebel. When we have to construct a house and when we have to do certain things, if we have a choice, we go by the rule. But there is no choice, then we go with Krishna's desire. Like that. But we follow the rules. We don't disobey the rules. That's why. He is not disobedient to anyone. But his full power of thought is absorbed in the service of the Lord. Like normally, if you have to purchase, will not take a bury area or something like. We will not take some crematorium for our house construction because it's inauspicious. But now somebody is giving that place, okay, make a temple. We say, okay, clean everything. We will do some, chanting the holy name and make a temple. Because that's what we are getting. That is Krishna's arrangement. So when we see Krishna's arrangement is in that way, we accept it. But we have an option, then we have to go according to the rules, like that. What is a devotee? What is the difference between outside person and devotees? Devotee also follows rules. Outside people also follow rules. But devotee, he surrenders. Like Arjuna was following the rules and fighting. When Krishna told Arjuna, no, kill Karna. According to rule, he cannot be killed because he does not have chariot and he does not have any weapon in his hand. So two things are there. According to rule, he should not be killed. And Arjuna was following all the rules till that time. But when Krishna told you kill him, he surrendered. That is the difference. That's why Arjuna is a devotee. Karna said no. Others, they are somebody stick to the rules. They don't surrender to Lord. That is the main danger. Now here they are not disobedient to anyone. Even why we have to go according to uh, horoscope should be matched for marriage. That means they are going by rule. You have to have good muhurta for marriage. That means according to rule. We follow the rules. They are created by Lord. Now, then we say, okay, but can we do it on Gaur Purnima, Nityananda Rasi? No rule. We surrender because it's auspicious day. Let the marriage be on Nityananda Rasi. Let it be on Gaur Purnima or some other day like auspicious day. No, appearance of Bhaktivinoda Thakur or Bhaktisiddhanta. If devotees are choosing that day for marriage, then that is beyond rule. You are just wanted to get some like. But his full power of thought is observed in the service of the Lord. The sentiment of the Supreme Personality of God, Kapila, that under his direction the air is blowing, the fire is burning, and the sun is giving heat, is not sentimental. The impersonalists may say that the Bhagavatam devotees create and imagine someone as a Supreme Personality of God and assign qualifications to him. But actually, it is neither imagination nor any imposition of artificial power. Lord, in the name of God. In the Vedas, it is said, Bhishamsat yata pavate bhishodeti surya. By the fear of Supreme Lord, the wind and the sun God are acting. Agni, Indra, and Mithya are acting under his directions. This is Vedas. ज्ञानवैराग्ययुक्तेन भक्तियोगेन योगिनः क्षेमाय पादमूलं मे प्रविशन्ति अकुतो भयम्. The yogis equipped with transcendental knowledge and renunciation and engaging in devotional service of their eternal benefit take shelter of lotus feet, and since I am the Lord, they are thus eligible to enter into the kingdom of God. And Prabhupada is one who actually wants to be liberated from the entanglement of this material world and go back home, back to Godhead, is actually a mystic yogi. The words explicitly used here are yuktena bhakti yogena. Those yogis are mystics who engage in devotional service are first class yogis. And the last, therefore, persons whose minds are fixed on the Lord engage in intensive practice of devotional service. That is the only means of attainment of final perfection of life. So, what Lord is concluding? Do intense bhakti. That is what my arpita, the mind being fixed upon me. This is what एतावान् एव लोकेस्मिन् पुरुषां निश्रेयस्योदयः तीव्रेण भक्तियोगेन मनोमय अर्पितं स्थिरम्. We have to do it in that way. And Ambrish Maharaj, the whole shloka Prabhupada explains, in this way all his senses are engaged. First of all, the mind should be engaged in the lotus feet of Lord. So Bhakti Yoga means controlling the senses. So a mind is disturbed, but we have to bring and fix it. The best course is to fix the mind on the lotus feet of Lord. Thus end the Bhaktivedanta Purana third canto, 25th chapter, Srimad Bhagavatam, entitled The Glories of Devotional Service. Okay. Any questions, comments? Thank you all very much. Grantara